So, welcome to the talk. My name is Marcelo. I'm going to be talking about generative AI monitoring with PydanticAI and Logfire. Does this sound okay? Okay, it is very weird when I'm here. So anyway, who have used FastAPI before? Raise your hands, everybody. Okay, so I'm the maintainer of Starlet, one of the dependencies, and I work at Pydantic, which was a package, become a company. I work there. And right now I'm working at Pydantic, well, specifically at my job, I work on PydanticAI, which is an agentic framework to build your agentic workflow. And I've also, well, we have a commercial product called Logfire, which is an observability platform. So I'll be talking about the two of them. I gave this talk already sometimes. It's not very different than the other times. It's just going to be a demo. So what shall we do today? So we're going to go through learning how to do agents and how to integrate with Logfire. Yeah, I mean, if you have questions, just throw them on. And this is more to be a one-two experience, you know? Like, you say something, I say something, I go on. You can ignore the code that you see on screen. I was using it to read an important document, so I just, you're a helpful assistant that can extract information. Anyway, so let's start. I already have my whole setup ready, so I'm gonna start with the basics. I'm gonna create an agent. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to select a model. So one thing that we value at Pydantic, and well, I value in Python, proper modern Python, is the ability to give, well, when you have proper type hints, you can have auto-completion experience like this that you're seeing on screen. So with PydanticAI, you can choose whatever model or provider you want to use. So it's provider agnostic. So you just choose, for example, I'm going to choose Anthropic, Claude 3. Oh, hold on, I'm in an older version. Stop, great, PydanticAI. Autocar does take a lot of time. So let me reload. So if I have this again, I'm going to see newer models and more models that were not before. So if we use Sonnet, and then the basic stuff, the basic, well, of the library is, so what's the capital of France? No reason for it to be French, it's just, I always use that example. And then if we run this, oh, main 5. So if I run this, I'm just gonna see that is Paris. So this is the basics. So we're gonna do a more interesting question right now. What day is today? So who thinks is gonna answer the day of today? No. It's gonna answer, oh nice, the models have improved. Well, let me use a worse model. So this example have a bit of, let's use this one, perfect. So, I mean, my idea with showing this, and it happened before, is that it's gonna show me a wrong date? Really? Well, let's go with OpenAI then. OpenAI GPT 4.0. Let's try this then. Please give me a date in the past. That's crazy. All the models, is it? Well, anyway, the point is, the LLM doesn't have access to what the current date is, because it was trained at some point in the past, and then it doesn't have access to it. So what we're gonna do is just give access to something, or we call a tool, for it to have access to what the current date is. So we're gonna do agent toolplane, and then we're gonna define get current date, providing the current date, okay? So when we do this, now it's going to happen. We don't know exactly what happened. We know that it gave us the right information. We know that something happened, we called something, we got something, but how we can observe what happened. And that's where Logfire comes into the table. So we're gonna just use Logfire configure to configure the project to set up, for those who are familiar with OpenTelemetry, this is just setting up the exporter. And we're gonna instrument PydanticAI. Also for the purpose of this talk and all to just have a bit more observability, we're gonna instrument underneath HTTP client. So HTTPX, we're gonna use capture all. This capture all is to capture all the body, headers, everything that's there, which is usually, I mean, this is for the purpose of the talk and for us to have the best observability possible, but usually you want to add some scrubbing or don't have everything on your observability platform. So if we do this, then, well, we do have a nice console output as well. You see it here. But what we intend to show is what we receive on Logfire, right? So on Logfire, you have your traces, and you have, in this trace, you have your spans. So we know that, wait, hold on, everybody can see it properly, right? From there? Amazing. So you see here that we send a message, what day is today, to the LLM, and we also provide the set of tools, which in this case was get current date. The LLM came back to us and said, hey, use this tool. And then I used the tool, well, the agent used the tool and got the date. And then it went back to the LLM formatted in this today is June 19, 25 format, right? And then here on Logfire itself, you can see each step that happened. So one call, the agent called a tool, and then it sent back the request to the LLM. So that's what you see here. Just taking a picture. And then, so this is the basics. So what happens, or what PydanticAI brings on this case? Well, first, on this case, on the tool side, we're gonna get the tool itself, and we're gonna create a JSON schema from it and send to the LLM as the tools. In this case, the name of the tool is, well, obviously the name of the function, but you can add more, you can customize it a bit better. Or, well, you can customize it. So, for example, if I change this name, the name of the tool to potato, and I add here get the current date, what's going to happen is that the tool, like the LLM, will still know what this tool is capable of doing, because even if the name of the tool is potato now, this description of the tool is get the current date. So the LLM still will give me the right result. In Europe. Okay, so is it? No, wait. That's not Wednesday? That's crazy. Well, is it? Well, I mean, almost there. But anyway, you see the point, right? It uses the tool. So I can also add more important stuff. For example, what if get date gives you, for example, get date, well, for the purpose of this demonstration, so assume I'm sending a parameter on this tool. And I run this. If we look at the definition of the call, it's going to send the definition of A being an integer. In this case, it really didn't matter because we didn't pass any information. So the LLM passed the value 1, which doesn't make, my example is not very compelling. But the point is, you can define arguments to the tool, and you can set up, and you can describe what they do. Okay, so you can pass more information and it can give more context. The LLM can give more context to the tool, and the tool can give you better results. What else? Yeah, one important thing about why we built PydanticAI, it's because all the other agentic frameworks were using Pydantic underneath. So we thought, hey, why don't we build this ourselves? And I mean, obviously you'll be thinking, yeah, but what's the connection between Pydantic and PydanticAI? Well, we do have validation on the output as well, but the point is more, well, and everybody was doing, all the agentic frameworks were doing. Yeah, and we can also do this on PydanticAI. So if we do, it doesn't matter if you use a type tick or base model or whatever you want to use. What's going to happen here is we pass this. And underneath, the validation is going to happen. So it doesn't matter if it's a type dict, if it's a base model. By the way, in FastAPI as well, if you use type dict or base model, it's the same thing. To be honest, using a type dict is faster than the base model. So if I do this, now what I'm going to see is that, well, first output is correctly typed. So I put here output type output. And if you check the output, it's also output here. And as you see, there is a structure on the output of this. Okay, then we can make the example, well, the exercise a bit more fun or compelling or something. And you can ask something like, who are the organizers of PyCon SG? If we do this, obviously, it's not going to give us any answer that is very truthful, or maybe it is. Well, no, it doesn't. Well, now we're going to give some tools that will make this exercise a bit more fun. So let's start with, we can add, for example, a search tool. We can kind of simulate Google. Well, simulate, no. Give a tool that acts as Google, that we have internally. So from PydanticAI, common tools, Tavily search tool. You can do this one, Tavily API key. Yeah, assert, please. Yeah. You do the assertion to make sure that Tavily was string and none. Now it's only, if you check the next line, it's only a string. So we narrow the type. And what we're going to do here is that we're going to select the tool. What is it? Oh, sorry, I lost it. From PydanticAI. Yeah, thank you. And then we're going to pass the API key. Okay. If I do this, hold on. Match the providers. Tools. Is this wrong? Who can see the issue? No? Okay. Hold on. Let's see. Yeah. Found it. Tools. Tavily search tool, API key. What is it? Tools. Tools. Oh, sorry, you defined the tools on the agent. So tool search tool, perfect. Yeah. So if I do this, API key, and then now I can call the run sync, and then I call, well, the agent, as you see, the LLM is going to choose to call Tavily, and then we're going to have a more compelling example. I hope so. Even if it doesn't improve the output, well, who is the organizer here? No organizer here? Really? All of them? Okay, so that's not a very good example. Can someone give me a better question then that we can interact? You. What is the captain of the what? French rugby team. Okay, let's see. Now it's me and you here. Let's see if this works. Is it correct? It's not? No, I mean, it's not right now, perfect. So we now can bring a better example. Well, we can give this a bit more fun on it. So we're going to add an MCP server. Who knows what MCP server is? Okay, so this MCP stuff is a new protocol, model context protocol, that the intention is to give more things to the LLM. So It has a set of things like tools, prompts. You can use sampling, which all those are difficult words or things. But the general idea is that you give more context to the LLM. So what we're going to do right now is, and usually the thing that most of MCP servers have is just a set of tools. So instead of you on your code defining the tools like I did here, or we did before in the previous example, we're going to actually choose an MCP server that some company already developed, and we're going to just use it. So we're going to choose to use Playwright, and we're going to allow it to use the browser, and then we're going to see what's happening. No, this is not it. At Playwright. Playwright. Is this the one? Hold on, let me copy from my other code. Playwright MCP latest. So Playwright MCP latest. Is it? Did I copy right? Let me see. Add Playwright. I have a second on that. So okay. Now, I mean, we at PydanticAI, we have async as a first citizen structure. So we're gonna change a business code, async with, and you need to manage how your MCP servers are running. So we're gonna do it here, and we're gonna pass the MCP servers. Okay. Async IO, run main. So what's gonna happen here, or my intention to show here, is I'm gonna call it, and the idea is that's gonna interact with the browser, and then if this allows, let's add instructions and improve. I mean, we need to play with it, right? So you should use the browser for more complete answers. Okay, if we do this, let's see what happens. Usually, in my experience, what happens is that it actually doesn't call the browser because it already have the result from the Tavily search. And also, this example seems a thing that it would find an information and wouldn't need to call another tool. So let's go back to give me another example that it can actually do something. What's the name of your company? What's the name of your company? How do you say that? GAMS? Monitoring. Find me the founders of... is this an interesting question? Okay, let's see. If it doesn't give an interesting answer, then we're going to remove the Tavily search. But the idea is pretty much if it gets the result from the previous one, then it doesn't get a new one. What happened a lot, well, let's just remove the Tavily. Yeah, but that's, so well, the idea is that it interacts with the browser. And it interacted wrongly. I mean, folks, that's developing with AI. Sometimes it fails. But if you want to give me a better example, we can try something. Yeah, no. Yeah, but the point of the first answer is that it used Tavily. I'm not looking for the best answer. I'm looking for a compelling example. But yeah.
What does an iPhone cost today?
What?
What does an iPhone cost today?
What does an iPhone cost? Can you compare me all the iPhones that were created? But I think this is a better something that if it does it right, it goes and search stuff. Let's hope so. Well, that's what I imagine. That's what I would do. Well, that's very disappointing. It actually didn't call any tool. Let's become friends of another model then. Let's use Sonnet. Well, who uses OpenAI? ChatGPT? Who uses Anthropic? Interesting. Who prefers Anthropic? Who prefers OpenAI? It depends on what? Okay.
I find Claude to be better for like marketing and emails
And OpenAI?
for code, I guess.
Well, well, this failed because the context was too big for the. That was a lot of tokens though.
GPT 4.1 mini?
Which one?
GPT 4.1 mini.
It has a big context?
1 million.
But doesn't Gemini have bigger context?
Yes, 2 million.
Let's try Gemini then. Which one do you want?
Okay, 2.5
Flash? Flash. Let's try this one. I mean, but you already saw that we interacted, the LLM was interacting with the browser. The way it works, at least with this MCP server, is that the responses are formatted in AML. So it calls the browser, it gets how the screen looks like, and it gets back to the LLM as AML.
install the MCP Server Studio, do we need to install a separate package? Because I get that cannot import MCP Server Studio from PydanticAI.mcp.
Have you installed, how did you do the pip install? Just pip install?
UV run with a dependency on Pydantic-AI, no extra dependency.
No, it's supposed to be there. Which version? Did you already have installed that?
Let me check.
You are a long time user, I see. No? But anyway, so as you see, it interacted with the browser, it got back the response. And yeah, what else can we bring? Yeah, I mean, if you see this, how it happened on Logfire, we see the whole interactions with the tools and stuff. Oh, it only happened one. It only called one tool. Search. Oh, wait, didn't we see the browser right now? No? That's disappointing. Well, let's remove the tool and make it actually iterate with the browser. Both Google API, yeah, sorry. You see, browser snapshot here. And we see a response. Please finish. Aha. Well, it did happen what we wanted, I guess. Not sure if the answer is correct, but it does have a lot of stuff, and it did interact with the browser. What else can we play with? What else did I do before? Yeah, there is one more thing. We can also interact with local models, if it's interesting for someone. In Germany, people were crazy about this, but let me see. So if I run a local model, I can also interact with it. So this is running. I always forget which port is it. Yeah, this one. So you can set up your own provider. It follows the OpenAI API. So like you use the chat completions to interact with Llama. So what you're gonna do is define what's the base URL. And then what you're gonna do is define the model. OpenAI model. And we're gonna choose the provider above, with the model being Llama 3.2. And then we're gonna do this. Okay, and then if we run this, what is it? 3.5. What happens usually with this model that's very old, page not found, oh yeah, tricky. So what happens with this model that is a bit older is that usually it doesn't work for some stuff that the current models work. So if we see, I don't think it's gonna happen any failure here, but let's see. Let me finish it after if it does fail. But like, for example, there are 3 ways of doing the output, right? As we saw before, I've created an output class called output. And there are three ways the LLM can do this kind of output validation. One way is defining, as a developer, we define that as a tool. So we define a tool, and then the LLM knows it needs to call this at the end. Another way is based on the API of the provider, which would be response format, for example, in OpenAI. And the third way is defining on the instructions. So what we do in PydanticAI underneath, for now, till we make the next release, it's only on the tool output. So the output becomes a tool. Well, as you see, it did work with a local model as well. It did less calls. Here is a comparison of other. Okay, I don't know. Well, there was some error there. Anyway. Well, I can talk about more stuff. I didn't notice this gonna be more time. Is there something you folks want to talk? I have evals as well. Yeah. What did you say? No, go ahead.
I got a question on the tools a while ago. Let's say if you have two similar tools or two of the same functionality, put like prioritization which tool to use, or do you just
like you want to give a weight to the LLM to choose a specific tool or something?
Yeah, let's say you have two get dates kind of functions. Can you set that you want to prioritize one over the other?
Okay, let's see what he's asking. What if I have two tools and then I want to prioritize one of the tools? So, okay, let's see. I have agent tool playing, and I have, what do you want the tools to be?
Let's say you have two functions.
Yeah.
Do you set an annotation to prioritize, or how do you do it?
Oh, like, for example, you want to...
You just make the two functions available for use?
Yeah.
And then that depends on the description that you like.
Yeah, can you give me a practical example where you would want to do that?
You have hard-coded get date and then the get date from the browser, for example.
Right.
Yeah. And then how will your which one will it choose?
But that's not practical. Why would you have two?
Yes, it's still something of similar.
I mean, you can. What do you say?
Maybe different time zones.
I mean, you can define whatever you want on the description of the tool. So, for example, more practical. What if you have two tools that does the same but depends on a different scenario? You want to call one or call another. Yeah, I mean, you can add all that. On that case, well, what you either do is probably pass a parameter that will define what you're going to do. For example, get today, but you pass a time zone. That's what you meant or something. You don't need two tools, you just need one in this example, but like you pass a time zone and then you define get the date of today depending on the time zone. And then the args time zone. And then it's usually smart to say the format of this time zone is, and then you wait for cursor to complete for you. Please. Okay, doesn't matter. The time zone is in UTC. Opa. UTC. Or what is it, Iana? Perfect. And then, what? I don't code for a long time. Datetime. Yep. Import data time. From data time, import data time. This is info. How do I pass? Info. Does this work?
No.
What do I need to do?
You probably need to get time zone from daytime.
And then?
And then pass that string to time.
Ah, that's tricky, huh?
That's when you get a conflict.
Amazing. Okay, perfect. No, if that's but I need the offset. Okay.
No, you don't. With the time zone name.
What do you mean? It's asking the. Yeah, I need the offset.
It's not from date time anymore.
Okay. Well, let's say I pass the offset. Doesn't matter. Offset the perfect. So if I do this, time zone. What did you say?
Zone info.
Zone info from where?
From zone info, import zone info with the.
No, but zone info is zone info standard library?
Yeah, this one.
Oh, nice.
And then you just pass the string.
Aha. So let's go back. Time zone, time zone, time zone. Perfect. Zone info. Amazing. Thank you. So if I run this, sorry for the delay. I need to get the result. Agent run async. What time is today in Singapore? Print output. I usually add Logfire to see what happened, but yeah. So it's June. Yeah, that's correct. But now if I add California, let's see what happens. It's still yesterday in California. So yeah. Good? But I mean, you can define whatever you want on the description of the tool. Yeah.
It's really interesting that if you open a browser
Yeah.
and do stuff, right? I see that it makes clicks.
Yeah.
Would it be able to do it under your credential and say buy an iPhone?
Buy an iPhone? What he's asking is if can the agent by itself go around and click and buy iPhone? I mean,
So for example, maybe people go to marketplace, you want to get the cheapest stuff, right? And you can see that it could do stuff on your behalf. You could like go and interact with the seller and actually make a decision for you and get a good bargain for it. I think that is a very
right now, yeah, it makes sense. I never tried to do auth with Playwright to see what happens. I'm not sure how that works. I don't think you do that though, because you want to, well, supposedly you need to give, right, not only the credentials, but you want to give the second auth or something. It's not going to be, or it's going to send a verification code to you or something, and it's going to have you in the middle, right? Yeah, I mean, you can use, we have also a graph API for that kind of interaction as well. So what you do is, yeah, but do you want to pass the, no, you don't want to do that. You don't want to pass the credentials on to the LLM because that's what you'd be doing at that point, right? Well, MCP does try to solve that issue. Well, at the beginning it didn't, but what they do now is that you have auth on the MCP servers. So it might be the point that you can, there is an Apple MCP server, but also it might be that you can.
Playwright should be able to load the user session.
And then.
It's launching Chrome, right? So you have your user session somewhere on your home folder, and then all your credentials and stuff like that. If it's saved in the browser, you should be able with Playwright to load your user session.
Yeah, you can load your own, and then that. Yeah, I guess, yeah.
I guess that's how I would approach it.
That makes sense. What he says that Playwright locally can have access to your session, and then you are done with this, and then no issue. Yeah, but yeah.
say that let's say that you want to make sure that your groceries at home is always topped up.
Uh-huh.
You could have an R2D2 account, like give $1,000 credits. It would then be able to put order online and stuff like that without you actually doing it right now.
Right. Yes, it will have access. Well, yeah, I mean, Sounds like a cool project.
Yeah, you probably don't want to give your own credential, but
Uh-huh.
you can totally create it like a bot account.
Right.
Give like, okay, I give the $1,000.
Yeah.
Make sure that my grocery is always top up.
Right, right. Yeah, you can play with that and send it to me the code to see. Sounds fun. I mean, that's one of the ideas of the talk is just to give inspiration. Yeah?
I have a question, and this might go into evals, so evals meaning like verifying the like correctness or whatever of what the LLM did. In some cases, you could imagine that, well, get today might not be one of those, but there could be some cases where the LLM says it's called a tool or acts as if it has done so, but didn't actually do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, say, do a booking or something like that. It could just make up that it did the booking.
Uh-huh.
You think that it happened, but it never called the tool.
Right.
Is there any way
So,
to verify if it actually did what it should do?
right. Yes, we actually have a new. Framework called a package called PydanticAI that is actually. Did you see it? Okay.
I haven't used it yet. But
Okay, yeah, the idea of that package is that it's framework agnostic, so you don't actually need to use PydanticAI, and you can define a rule kind of evaluator that says, did I call the tool? And then you define that. You made a question yesterday about evals and in production, right? Yeah. Pydantic evals, right now what we have is not in production exactly. It's not for in production. It's like the normal, I think what was being explained from this side, like on your training set you'll have, and that's what we have in this Pydantic evals. But we are bringing annotation in the production data very soon in Logfire. Very soon, I mean 2 weeks from now or a week. But anyway, Pydantic evals, PydanticAI evals. We're just gonna show you the docs, and specifically your point. It's a point that people do. A specific point what you ask. So as you see, this can be used to ensure specific tools are or not called during execution. So if you check this last example here, then you're going to be able to see that.
cool. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, more, what do you have? Yeah, you.
So wondering whether the PydanticAI can handle the streaming videos or not.
Sending or receiving?
As a series, like I say, put like the Gemini, you open your Gemini, like
Yeah.
asking a question like in real life. I mean in real time, whether PydanticAI can do that or not.
So receiving. Well, the answer is yes. You can send video or any kind of binary as well. You can send the binary content. But does Gemini accept this on streaming format?
I mean, it's like open my camera.
No, I understand what you're saying. But does Gemini, the API, accept streaming?
I'm not sure.
Okay, I mean, the point is, if Gemini accepts streaming, we need to change our API a bit to allow a generator to be passed, and then everything would work fine. But as of now, you need to send, you'd send a chunk, and then that will be the whole video, and then you can send chunks and chunks and chunks, and then, yes, that works.
Gemini does have a live API.
Who?
Gemini has a live API.
Yeah, no, but that's not chat completions, right? Yeah, so, yeah, that's a good point. So several providers have different APIs. What PydanticAI is built on top of is with the normal chat completions API. So it does not have audio real-time or video real-time or all translations, all that it doesn't have. It doesn't seem we didn't see many requests on those features. But yeah, if a lot of people want, then we'd implement.
Among the MCPs, what are your favorites?
About the MCP servers? I tried the GitHub yesterday. got a lot of 500s. I don't know. I think I didn't. You need to create a personal access token or do auth with. But auth, it's very hard to configure on when you are building an agent in code, and I didn't try VS Code. I think VS Code is the only one, or maybe Claude already supports now since the latest release. But the auth. Well, that's answering your question. I like to play with Playwright. I find it entertaining. We also have a Logfire MCP server. So the idea is that while you're developing, since you send data, OpenTelemetry data to Logfire, you ask questions to the agent, and then the agent can, oh, there was an exception here, so I can solve, I saw an issue in this line here, and then I can help you with this, something like that.
I don't know the nature of agents now. Like if they're usually query-based.
Right. Well, actually, that's a good idea. So, you know sampling on MCP?
I haven't seen it in practice.
Well, the concept of sampling on the idea is that you have your MCP server, and then the idea is the MCP implements many tools, and on a tool, you can say back to the client, hey, can you use the LLM to get some query for me? So imagine that you are on your MCP server and you are like, hey, can you build me a SQL that search for this? And then you get back to the client calls the LLM and sends back to you this query that looks very fine, like looks nice. And then we could call Logfire, which is SQL. The search engine is. The query agent is SQL, so you call with that query, and then you get back the results, you go back to the client. That's what supposedly would happen, but we do not do that yet.
Yeah, it's theoretical.
Yeah. No, but the point, what we do...
Yeah, no, it's not theoretical.
No,
there are libraries for it, but I haven't actually seen anyone use it yet.
So we are, right now, and I'm supposed to merge today, MCP sampling on PydanticAI side. So the idea would be, which I can show you right now, PydanticAI GitHub. So if we go to the best agentic framework repository, and good touch. So you see, let me see if he added an example. What did he say?
Yeah, you're right today, right?
Yeah, I mean, I need to merge it. So MCP server. Oh no, it's on the apps. Do you see the apps? Yeah, here. Use sampling, create a message. This is a test of MCP sampling. What is it? MCP server sampling. Sorry, I forgot how is it called. Sampling model. Perfect. Okay. So what is it? Well, I don't think he added a practical example of this. I think it's on our Slack. But the idea is that you have your session on the MCP side, and then you use this agent. The agent internally calls the client back, and then the client calls the LLM. The idea is this to be simple on the server side.
Yeah, I think what I like about that is it keeps the usage size coherent. Like if you think about it, and normally an agent, there's like an LLM implicit in the implementation of an agent.
Right.
Whereas a tool, it does not.
Right.
So it's actually borrowing your LLM,
right.
which
right.
means your tokens are all in one place.
Yeah, that's a very cool feature and very nice from MCP. And I think that's the only reason I've found out, well, at least on my observations, that's why it needs to be a bidirectional protocol.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I found.
Yeah. I was wondering if they did any other async callback besides sampling.
They do logging,
Okay.
but I mean, I think it could pass without logging. I think sampling is the thing that makes sense to be, that it needs to go back to the client. Other than that, I don't know. Yeah. Questions? Yeah, you.
Are you able to create multiple agents and have them interact with each other?
Right, I can do that. So so there are many strategies for hands-off, right? Like you pass the agent and then you can do via tool. So you define an agent as a tool. You put an agent inside a tool pretty much. Or what you can do right now, we do need a better strategy for doing this. We allow you to do it, but it's a bit not that nice. So for example, you have this agent here and then you have another agent called second agent. And then, I don't know, it uses, just for the sake of, I'm going to use another model, right? So what we can do is, for example, set up a callable on the output type. So call second model, call second agent. And then you define how that call is going to be, and then you can define you can define the input. It doesn't need to be a string. It can be, for example, input second agent input, something like this. User prompt, something like this. Base model. And then you can pass the user prompt here or something like that, you know? You can do these kind of things. If I run this, well, let me add Logfire here. Import Logfire configure. If I do this, just for it to be a bit more entertaining. And then you can see get today, and it actually it called the second agent as well. So that's the way you do that. The first agent runs, it finishes, and sends the output to the second agent. And you can define in the middle how the input to the second agent looks like. But output type is not a very good name for doing this kind of thing, so we are already implementing something that's more intuitive. You can also define, for example, you have a tool on the first agent, and you define something like get second or call second agent, and then you run the same thing. You just define it. And instead of doing this as an output, you define this as a tool. But again, sorry, it needs to be, the tool is already defined here. So if I do this, it's gonna, well, this is a bit different because it needs to choose to call the second agent, right? As of the first example that I did, it was going to call the second agent. So you could have added, for example, output type, the callable, but also a union of known if you don't want to call the next agent or play with types. That would also work.
When running a loop, how does it decide that the task is complete or it needs to continue?
I didn't understand the question.
Let's say it's trying to search for the iPhone.
Yeah.
Now it's, let's say, got 3 results, 5 results, whatever.
Right.
It has the option of running another search.
Right.
Or stopping at that point.
Right.
How does it decide?
So he's asking, when does the LLM or the agent decides when to stop? How does the agent decide when to stop when you have a lot of results? For example, we get to Tavily goes back with 5 URLs. When does the agent stops to call those URLs to investigate? I don't know. I mean, I would think that's more of an LLM choice, isn't it?
And how does the LLM signal the choice? We say,
It sends back the response looks like something like use this tool, and then the agent sees, oh, there is the type use this tool, so now I'm going to use this tool. The agent goes and calls the function.
no tool means end.
Sorry?
So if there's no tool call,
Yeah.
it stops. That's
Well, if at the end you have, exactly, well, that's the point. If the output is a text and it says output, then content, it says it's a text, then it finished the execution. We do not call something further.
How does one chain these? Do we just take the result of output, send it to another one by ourselves, or do you use the practice?
You asking how do I chain?
Yeah, how do you chain multiple LLM calls? Do you prefer sending them? Do you prefer creating a tool to call an LLM, or manually creating a workflow?
I mean, this by itself, when you call run, there is already a workflow running behind scenes, right? Like what we do is we call the LLM first. The LLM says, I'm gonna use the tool. Then the agent goes and calls the tool, it goes back. Then if you want to do something more, like you have different agents, you can define different agents as I showed you before. So what you'll do is that, well, from one you're gonna call the other, and then it's gonna do that, and then. Yeah, I mean, did you see the output type that I said? Like I showed you, well, right now this is, for example, one way, but the previous way is more, what makes more sense, I guess. So you can define output type, this. What happens here is the first agent, the agent, it's gonna call, well, at least what happened on the previous execution. Is this the previous execution? Yeah, this is the previous execution. So as you see, it called the get today, and then at the end, it called the second agent. So yeah, that's the idea. There are some more complex workflows that we do have a graph API, and we are building actually a better graph API because people like graphs. And I don't personally use graphs much, and I just use for the sake of replying to users that need graphs. But I can do everything that I wanted to do, that I did with using this API. I just use the run. If I need multiple agents, which usually happens if you are building a bit more complex stuff, then you do something like this. Before we had this output type, what I did was exactly what you said at first. You said, I'm gonna get the second agent and then just get the output from one and pass it to the other. That's what I did before having this output type. But yeah, we need to still improve the naming, because this is used for output normally, but also you can also pass a callback, and then yeah.
So if I have to like fine tune, these are all what we are doing now, or are already trained models, meaning.
Sorry, repeat what you said.
So the ones which you are running now,
yeah,
they are already trained models and all general information.
Right. Right.
Some specific use cases.
Right.
So should I go with a RAG-based system, or should I keep appending or fine-tune, like keep on training it, or how do we go about that?
Well, you're asking specifically what your strategy should be, or are you asking specifically, or?
No, in general, I'm asking, like if I have to fine-tune it,
yeah,
and cache the prior trained data for it.
Yeah. Using PydanticAI or in general? This is a general question.
My question is in general.
I don't know. Sorry. I mean, using PydanticAI, if you do a fine tuning and you provide the same, it's chat completions API, then you don't have any problems, right? There are examples on the documentation using RAG, but if you're asking me what's the best strategy for me, I cannot answer.
So that would be always a problem. So how do I, like a kind of a cache it so that it can already know it as Pydantic is looking at any kind of a framework to support.
Yeah, I mean, what we tried before internally is to really use a vector DB and then do the normal, what people usually recommended. Now I go to AI conferences and they say, no RAG, too much context big now, don't need no worry. People, they usually say those words. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. You.
So I know that I have like a fixed set of steps. Let's say I have 3 steps. First, I know I want to fetch the data. data. So I know that there are a few steps that must be executed in order.
Uh-huh.
So is that multiple tools? Is that one big tool? Is that multiple agents? And how do I ensure that it's executed in that order that I have?
But I mean, you have three tools. One is get data, the other is, what is it, the second one?
Check the data is relevant.
Check the data is relevant, and the third one?
To produce a paragraph with that relevant data.
Right.
So it's like a set of steps that I know will be that I know I want to be executed in that.
Right.
Do I still use tools?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, do I still use tools? And is there a way to check that it's in that order?
Yes, I mean, do you need to ensure that that's going to happen?
I guess I will be most interested in the outputs, right?
I mean, you can define, for example, you know how the output looks like, right? So, I mean, if you are looking specifically at your example, we can validate, well, the second point that you said, the second tool was actually validation, right? Check the data, but that's what you said.
Yeah.
Or it was not that what you meant?
Yeah, like, for example, ask the LM whether this answers like the question.
Yeah, I mean, you can define those tools, and it's gonna, if it makes sense, it's gonna call. You want to ensure that those three things are going to happen.
Yeah, in order. And
But then I wouldn't give those three tools if you want them. What you have is a tool choice. It's one parameter that you can pass to the APIs that you make it actually run those specific tools mandatorily or choose between some tools. And that's what you can do to ensure that a specific tool is being called. Like it's a parameter, you just pass it and it works. It's going to force to call that tool.
so how do you force it to call it?
What do you mean? How do I force it to call a tool?
Yeah, my tools are basically step 1, step 2, and step 3.
I don't know how to. But why would you? What?
Can you use the output type? Like
Yeah.
step 1, then output type, step 2,
Yeah, you can do that.
step 3.
You can do that, yes.
Then it will always run in that order.
Right. That works, yes.
So I think one of the tricky things about like the idea of forcing something to call a tool, I ran into this before with some agent framework, is that it's the LLM is the one who's deciding whether or not it wants to use a tool. So you can prompt it to say, use the, like, because sometimes people put prompts that say, use this tool when asked about such a question. But it depends on the instruction following capabilities of the LLM.
Right.
That's why the evals are kind of needed sometimes to verify that they're likely to do it. The response back at the low level will say is asking to invoke a tool or not. But sometimes it can be tricky to know for sure that a certain question will result in a tool call without yourself already having to.
Right.
It's
You-
a chicken egg situation.
So yeah, I mean, the question itself put me in a difficult position because you are kind of forcing a thing that has access to many to what it sees, but you're restricting to do one thing. So it kind of loses the power of what you're trying to do, right?
Now you could say, I mean, I don't know, please don't think this is good practice because I'm just talking. But I mean, just like in microservices, we had big services, microservices, functional service, and sometimes people go all the way back, again, everything in big service. You could think of an agent which has access to one and only one tool. If there was an agentic flow, which it could only possibly do one tool, then it's a choice of whether it actually invoked it or not. Versus like it having some ambiguity, because within the constraint of each agent, you can filter down its capabilities.
Right.
Closer to the not.
Right. But I mean, there is a specific parameter that you force the LLM to use that tool anyway. So you can create those 3 agents and then actually force it to use it.
I mean, I don't know if there's a way to really force. Like, I always feel
No,
like
I mean,
force is like a strong suggestion. Because
no, I mean, well, I'm gonna be honest. It's not. What do you say? No, I mean, tool choice is one parameter that you have that you can actually force the tool to actually call. So you set this tool choice parameter.
it will fail if it doesn't call for me.
I think it always calls the tool, but I don't know. I never failed to me. Maybe it fails. So you can choose, and one or more choose are required, or you can actually choose exactly the function that's going to call. So that's what the parameter does. You see? But anyway, no one told me, but it seems that the time is over. So any more questions, or, well, I mean, if the organization wants to stop me, then stop me, but go ahead.
What's the common theme of the VSO?
Good question. Theme. How do I see the theme? Is it here?
Yeah.
Is it dark plus? Is this one? Yeah, it's this one. Dark plus. Thank you. Best question. Yeah.
Prompt? How do you get that prompt and which part of it is?
What did you say? The prompt?
The prompt, yeah, how do you get that prompt? A lot of people doesn't.
Which prompt?
Like, PyCon DE, main, 0.1, yeah, all the prompt.
No, but he said this one on the top.
No, in your
But what does he have?
PyCon DE on main branch.
Oh, this stuff. Starship. Yeah, thank you. Starship. This one. Yeah. Good or?
A follow-up. Do you publish your dot files?
Yes, it's on cludex.files. Yeah. Cludex.files, I think. My configuration file. This is not me. Oh, cludex. Yeah. I think it's up to date. I don't change the stuff much. So, but anyway, so well, let's end the talk. Let me. Do you see a slide? Yeah. So, thank you. That was it.